Welcome to saitechinfo channel, my dear students. In this session, I'll be explaining about Introduction to Microeconomics. In this topic, we'll be explaining the following concepts. First of all, we'll be discussing about what microeconomics is. Then, what are the different definitions of economics and the criticisms? Then we'll move to the scope of economics, under which we'll be explaining about economics as a subject matter, economics as art and science, economics as positive and normative science. Then I'll be explaining about the basic concepts associated with the microeconomics, like goods and services, utility, price, market, cost, revenue, equilibrium, income. Then we'll proceed to the methods, the facts, theories, and laws associated with economics. Then what are the subdivisions like consumption, production, exchange, and the distribution? Then we will be discussing about the types of economics, where I'll be explaining about microeconomics, macroeconomics, international economics, public economics, developmental economics, health economics, and environmental economics. And finally, we will be discussing about the problems associated with the basic economics. Now we'll move to the definition of economics. What is economics? Actually, the word economics has the Greek root word oikonomikos. Oikos means households. Nemein means management or custom or law. That is how to manage the custom, or customize, or what are the laws associated with the households. So that is economics. So it means precisely management of households. Earlier it was called political economy. Then later it was renamed as economics in the late 19th century by Alfred Marschall. There are four definitions of economics. Smith's wealth definition. This is representing the classical era. Marshall's welfare definition. This was in the period of neoclassical era. Robinson scarcity definition. So that was economics in the new age. And finally, in the modern age, we have Samuelson growth definition. So precisely this can be remembered as mnemonic SMRS. So SMRS stands for, S stands for Smith, M stands for Marshall, Robinson R, and S represents Samuelson. So this will be a very good mnemonic so that you can remember these four definitions of economics. Now let us explore Smith's wealth definition. So Adam Smith was born in 1723 and died in 1719. In 1776, he wrote a book, An Enquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations, where he has tried to give the definition for economics as science of wealth. See, a nation's wealth should be created and increased, in his opinion. Each person should work for his own good, according to him. According to Smith's wealth definition, that is, he introduced the division of labor. This will be possible and give better results to increase the quantum of output, the amount of output. So that if every individual is working on that, the output will be increased so that there will be a national output. Severe competition in factories and societies will definitely fetch better results or better products. So that should be some competition among factories as well as in society so that we can get, finally the society will get better products, better quality products. So it means that is the supply forces should be very, very active. For example, a commodity that is consumed by the society, and the people who are consuming the commodity produced are called consumers. So when they are able to get this commodity at the lower price, they will be very happy. So the best quality with the lowest price. So that is the target. Adam Smith, in his publication The Wealth of Nations in 1776, he described the effective birth of economics as a separate discipline. There were some criticisms about Smith's definition of economics. Economics means wealth getting activities and wealth spending activities. So there was emphasis given, that is undue emphasis given only to the material wealth. The wealth is treated to be an end in itself, but human welfare was ignored as an, because this is the essential part of economics. So when you do not include the human welfare, it is an incomplete economics. So what Smith made the economics as a definition as wealth getting is wrong. It is not only wealth getting and wealth spending, where the human welfare should be taken into account. So this was the major criticism of Smith's definition of economics. And there are some missing points also. For example, the religious values, spiritual values, they were missed in the definition of economics. So this was one of the major criticisms of Smith's definition of economics. Ruskin and Carlyle, they regarded economics as a dismal science. Actually, it teaches selfishness and it is against ethics. So this was another criticism against Smith's economics. So here, when we talk about only profit or wealth getting or wealth spending, you are totally ignored the human welfare and it leads to selfishness only. So there is no ethical business, that is, there is no ethics. So this is against ethics, and that is why Smith's definition on economics was not considered. Later, Marschall, he gave the welfare definition about economics. So this is in the new classical era. Alfred Marshall, he was born in 1842 and was passed away in 1924. So during this period, in 1990, he wrote a book on principles of economics, where he explained about the political economy, and he, that is, explored in depth about the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. He examined that part of individual and social action also. So he closely tried to connect with the attainment with the use of material requisites for of well-being. a study of wealth was carried out. So that was the part of the study of man. So there are some features about this Marshall's welfare definition. For example, he defined the economics as, that is, it promotes primarily welfare and not wealth. So he focused on welfare rather than wealth. Then it contains the concerns of ordinary people who are moved by love and affection and not merely guided or directed by the desire to get the maximum monetary benefits or profits. So here the welfare was given much importance. And not only that, he said economics is a social science. It studies the people in the society who influence one another so that there will be a healthy competition. But there were some criticisms for Marshall's definition of economics also, because it was considered only material things, but it didn't include, that is, his definition of economics didn't include immaterial things like service of a doctor or a teacher. So here we talk about the theory of wages where we ignored the reward for the services of immaterial services. For example, when a teacher gives a service, he is a service provider and his contribution in economics was totally ignored. Similarly, the services of a medical practitioner or doctor were ignored. So these were the criticisms against Marshall's definition of economics. Even though he talked about welfare, but he considered only material things and he has left the immaterial things, that is services. That is, he talked about only products, but he has ignored the services. So that was the complaint or criticism given by Marshall's critics. Welfare varies with the person to person, country to country, and period to period also. For example, liquor, that is taking liquid drinks, alcoholic drinks, they are not capable of promoting welfare, but in fact it commands only praise. Welfare means happiness, comfortable living conditions of an individual or a group of people. So, welfare of an individual or nation is dependent on three important factors. One is the stock of wealth possessed, second, on political, third, social and cultural activities. So, here the immaterial things, that is, services, were ignored. So, that was one of the major complaint or criticism given for Marshall's definition of economics. And then Robinson's scarcity definition. So this was the next one about economics. Lionel Robinson published a book where he gave a title for that book, An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science. That was published in 1932. Economics, according to him, economics is a science which studies the human behavior as a relationship between the ends and the scarce means which have alternative uses. Now let us explore on his definition. So there are some features about the Robinson scarcity definition. Here, ends means human wants. Human beings have unlimited number of wants. Their wishes, their wants are unlimited. And the scarce means resources. That is the means satisfying these unlimited human wants. So, ends means human wants. Scarce means resources to satisfy these human wants. Therefore, scarce are limited in supply, but the ends, that is human wants, are unlimited. Therefore, the scarcity of a commodity in relation to its demand was discussed here. The scarce means that is capable of having alternative uses also. An individual grades his wants, that is, rates his wants, and satisfies first his most urgent want. So he should be able to identify his most urgent want, even though he has unlimited wants or wishes. Economics is a science of choice, according to Robbins' scarcity definition. Now let us move on to the criticisms on Robbins' definition of economics. There is no distinction between goods conducive to human welfare and goods that are not. For instance, scarce resources are used in the production of rice and alcohols, but the production of rice promotes human welfare. There is no doubt about that. But what about alcohol or alcoholic drinks? They do not. So, economics is neutral between ends. And the second criticism was economics deals with the microeconomics aspects of resource allocation. The determination of the price of commodity is important, and also with the macroeconomics aspects, generation of national income should be considered. And here, Robbins reduced the economics merely to the theory of resource allocation. He has not explained about these things. Therefore, here the theory of economic growth and development was not at all covered by the definition of economics given by Robbins. Now let us move to Samuelson's growth definition. Paul Samuelson published a book, an introductory analysis, in 1948, where he explained the economics as the study of how men and society choose, with or without the use of money, to employ the scarce productive resources which would have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now, in the future, among various people and groups of society. So, this was the fantastic definition given by Samuelson. Here, Samuelson's growth definition is very, very important, and it has certain features like means scarce in relation to unlimited ends, and that such means could be put into alternative uses also. Here, he included the element of time, and therefore it covers the theory of economic growth. So, the time related is very important in the case of economics. So, he has cleverly introduced or included the element of time so that the economic rate or growth can be studied. And also, it is applicable for, that is, a barter economy, where money is not at all used. It is only a transaction of products. And then he covered various aspects like production, distribution, consumption. For instance, if you want to have any product, it has to be produced, it has to be properly distributed, and you should find the outlet for the consumption also. And that is why he said economics as a social science. And here, being the latest one, everyone agreed with such universal definition for economics. So in the subsequent classes, we will be proceeding with the other aspects about economics. If there is any doubt or comments, you can give in the comments column. Thank you very much for watching this video.